Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, victims of Kaduna bandit attacks share ordeal. Right groups demand justice for Jawad, killed by stray bullet in Katsina. NNPP presidential candidate says new Nigeria is possible, inaugurates 1,053-member campaign council. And on the international scene, Al-Shabaab extremist group deny contact with Somalia's government on negotiation request. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour tonight. I am Eugenia Abu. Some communities in the southern part of Kaduna recently came under attacks, leading to the loss of many lives and destruction of property. Victims of the attack recount their experiences. Ali Ahmed sent this report from Kafanchan, as presented from our studio.
It was on a Sunday night when most families retired to sleep that the gunmen attacked the Malagung and Sokwang communities in Kaura local government areas of Kaduna State, killing about 40 people. Narrating his ordeal, Nathan Thomas Yashim, who lost his father, stepmother and some relatives, said they were ambushed by the attackers.
10 a.m. and 10 p.m. we saw some van security came and stopped here. After some time they drove around there. We thought those people were to help us because there was a rumor that they would attack our community. Meanwhile, there was an ammo tank here. So that they came through that night, we thought they were for our help, not knowing that it is the evil perpetrators that were busy planning their attack. I was right outside when they started shooting. That is my house. I ran to my father just to rescue them. That was why I left my vehicle, so that I can convey them out of in coming here, already they are here. They were just in those, we cannot just say their numbers. They were too numerous.
Another victim, Ishaku Aluwang from Sokong community, said that he was attacked on his way back from his ginger farm by dagger-carrying attackers.
So, kabanin wucin tafiya na yace shi fa lalle ba zai barni ba sai yace zai susuke ni da ukan sai na roke shi na bashi hakuri.
I am begging them to spare my life, but he collected the cutlass and attacked me. That's how my hand was macheted, because I raised it to protect my head. I am the largest farmer in my community, but the attackers have ruined my life. I don't know where and how to start from because I depend on farming to earn my living. They have reduced me to square zero. An aged woman, Elizabeth Joel from Sokwang, said the attackers came to her room and asked her to leave immediately or she will be killed. After the attack, military men were deployed and stationed around the communities. The community called on the government to do the needful to bring back peace to the communities and bring the culprits to book.
Away from Kaduna and to Lagos, where normalcy has been reportedly restored at the Ojota area of Lagos State after reported unrest involving suspected Yoruba Nation agitators Monday morning. It was earlier reported that a yet-to-be-identified male adult was killed when Yoruba Nation agitators and the police clashed in the Ojota area of Lagos on Monday. The spokesperson for the police in Lagos, Benjamin Hundeyi, confirmed the death of the unidentified person. Commuters had to run to safety in the heat of the pandemonium. Some agitators reportedly came out to demand for a Yoruba nation while the police came out to curtail them, leading to a clash. Security operatives arrived at the scene and shot tear gas to disperse the crowd, while a police van was reportedly burnt in the ensuing outrage. The Benue State Police Command has arrested 13 people suspected to have been involved in the kidnapping of the Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Ekpe Ugbu, and others in Benue South Senatorial District. In a statement by the State Command spokesperson, Catherine Anene, the arrests were made following the deployment of tactical teams to the southern part of the state to trail the kidnapped syndicates, their grouping in the area. Anene said that the State Commissioner of Police, CP Wale Abbas, urged people of the state to provide useful information to the police to enable them fish out hoodlums within their communities. In the meantime, human rights and civil society organizations have vowed to ensure justice against the killers of the 9-year-old Muhammad Jawad, allegedly killed by police operatives in Katsina. The deceased and 3 other survivors currently receiving medical attention were hit by stray bullets allegedly fired by the police operatives while dispersing crowd. Here's that report.
Human rights activists and members of civil society organizations who are disturbed by the alleged police brutality are questioning the reasons behind the unfortunate killing of Muhammad Jawad.
By the nature of whatever happened here, it reveals that that gun was not on safety mode, which may be the reason why all this thing happened. And we will continue to follow it up to ensure that justice has been done to whoever is the culprit of these cases that led to, the death of an innocent child, because a child of not more than 9 who is on his way from school back home can be a victim of this. I think it's a case that cannot be allowed to die down just like that.
We come to the scene of the incident and to interview the victim's family and all of them so that we will know actual what happened. So we will follow this thing to the logical conclusion by the grace of God.
Trust Television captured 9-year-old Ahmad Shuaibu, who was hit on the neck by a stray bullet when police operatives fired live ammunitions to disperse a crowd. Rights activists in the area are alleging a cover-up by police, but findings by Trust TV revealed that the police gave conflicting reports about the alleged principal suspects and the arrests made.
In the course of investigation, suspect Abdul Ghani Yusuf, male, aged 20 years, was traced and arrested. He confessed to have engaged the policeman in a brawl leading to the shooting incident. 2 other suspects, DJ Abubakar A. Abubakar, male, aged 22 years, and Abubakar Hussein Hassan, male, aged 21 years, were arrested in connection with the crime. They made useful statements and are assisting the police in their investigations.
They say I'm the principal suspect who grabbed police officer with a view to disarming him. It is a lie. The police officer shot me at a close range. I'm innocent. And they say I was arrested as a principal suspect. But look at me here, suffering from wounds. They removed my 2 fingers. I demand justice from all relevant authorities. Civil society organizations and other concerned groups have promised to take legal action against those behind the unfortunate incident with a view to ensuring justice for the family of the deceased and the injured victims. The Katsina State Commissioner of Police, Umar Nadada, promised to ensure that perpetrators of the crime are brought to book while adequate care is given to survivors. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
President Muhammadu Buhari has again urged Nigerians to resist vote buying in the forthcoming general elections. The president stated this in Yola on Monday while flagging off the APC campaign rally. Trust TV's Salis Lawan reports that party chieftains are calling on APC stakeholders to work towards ensuring victory for the party at all levels. Here's that report.
Muhammadu Buhari Esquire, as it was tagged, agog with APC party faithful, national leaders and political gladiators as the APC governorship candidate Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani flags up her campaigns ahead of the general elections. One after the other, they made their entrance. The APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu makes his appearance.
Progress Binani
the arrival of President Muhammadu Buhari in company of the APC governorship candidate, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani, signaled the commencement of the event. State, national, and other leaders of the party took turns to eulogize the presidential and state governorship candidate, giving reasons why they should be trusted with their mandates.
It is now in Adamawa, you want to produce the first female governor in Nigeria. Haba, Mutane Adamawa, you are very lucky. Are you not lucky? Are you not lucky? So today is just to confirm that day.
Yeah. This goes to show that Adamawa people are fed up with PDP government. So people are here eagerly waiting to vote out PDP in Adamawa State to bring back APC power.
Women showed solidarity to the only female governorship candidate in the country. Senator Binani promises more if voted into power. President Muhammadu Buhari again calls on the electorate to exercise their franchise by voting the ruling party back to power.
I advise you to please be focused. APC came into the political field to make sure that Nigerians are recognized as the owners of the country. They are nobody's state, they are nobody's voice. They are fellow Nigerians.
The governorship candidate was then presented the flag of the party, which symbolizes the mandate of the party. Binani is now set to embark a rigorous campaign with just less than 3 months to the governorship election. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
And still talking politics, presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Kwankwaso, on Monday inaugurated a 1,053-member campaign council with a charge to its various organs to have all hands on deck and drive the party to electoral victory. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman also reports that the NNPP presidential candidate and his party goes public to raise what it called needed funds for logistics.
Barely 6 weeks to presidential election in Nigeria. The candidate of the NNPP is racing against time to set up the necessary machinery that will drive his campaign across 774 local government areas in the 36 states of the Federation in what promises to be a highly competitive race to the presidency.
Our political movement, both the TNM, Konkosia, and the NNPP levels, is driven by committed and dedicated volunteers who invest their resources, time, and energy, bearing in mind that Nigeria's economy is in tatters and the income levels are shrinking and the purchasing power is weakening by the hour.
The New Nigeria People's Party is also not losing sight to the fact that it has to raise the necessary funds that would help in prosecuting the presidential campaign in view of scarce resources at its disposal.
We made it a duty that the few convoy that we have, we visit the people. By that, we were able to assess and see the ecstasy of young men and women who show interest, who show love for this great party.
We don't play money politics, but we need a whole lot of money for logistics and to ensure that we succeed fully by the help of God.
That this is time for us to lead, for you to lead Nigeria, because the course is clear and our victory is certain, inshallah.
A 1,053-member campaign council comprising of 6 components, chaired by the presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso, is expected to take the challenging task of mobilizing Nigerians to vote for the party as it kicks off zonal rallies on the 12th of this month. The party says its message is a new and better Nigeria is possible. Shapiro Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In a similar vein, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has held a town hall meeting at Efron, Uvie local government area of Delta State as part of his campaign for the 2023 elections. Fielding questions at the meeting, which also served as his presidential rally in Delta State, Obi told his supporters not to vote for tribe or religion, as no tribe or religion buys bread cheaper, but to vote for him en masse, as he represents commitment and capacity to turn around the economy and the country for good. While assuring the people that a new Nigeria is possible, Obi promised not to give excuses but to take on Nigeria's problems head-on. The national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, in his remark, said the Nigerian economy is not working and urged supporters to obtain their voters' cards to enable them vote Peter Obi, whom he said will make Nigeria work again.
I'm contesting this job as a Nigerian, and I'm contesting it because I know that I can turn around this country. I'm contesting it because I know that I'm qualified to do the job. Our next month will be based on character. It will be based on competence. It will be based on commitment. And based on compassion. We want people who want to save Nigeria. And I'm saying to Nigerians, vote for me and hold me responsible. I have a new Nigeria.
Today, Nigeria again is at a crossroads. The economy is not working. Insecurity is ravaging the country. The country is deteriorating. Will worry carry last this time around? That is why I want to appreciate all of you today for coming out en masse to support the cause to change Nigeria, to support the cause to rescue Nigeria. And the answer to the resolutions of all the crises in the country reside in Labour Party and its presidential candidate.
Despite criticism and alleged non-performance of the present administration by critics and the opposition, the federal government says the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is leaving behind a legacy of revamped security, social investment, self-sufficiency in staples and probity, among others. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this at the resumed PMB administration scorecards hearings 2015 to 2023, where he described claims that the Buhari government achieved nothing in other sectors and only a little in infrastructure as fault. Here's that report.
The 16th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari scorecard series opened with the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, saying beyond infrastructure, the President is leaving behind unprecedented legacies of development that have enhanced the quality of lives of beneficiaries.
Our pace-setting social investment programs like Empower, school feeding, conditional cash transfer, and GEP, that's Government Enterprise Empowerment Program, have benefited millions of our citizens, both young and old, and this can neither be trivialized nor denied. The Buhari administration is leaving a legacy of putting Nigeria on the path of self-sufficiency in many staples, including rice.
Mohammed added that the current administration has ensured inclusiveness, especially in the areas of infrastructure and social development.
There is no state in Nigeria today that is not witnessing at least a road or a bridge or a housing project, not one. The Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning has also told us here how Mr. President approved tranches upon tranches of funding to states, irrespective of their party affiliation, to enable them meet their obligations to the people. What of the legacy of the Second Niger Bridge? Building that bridge almost 60 years after the commissioning of the Niger Bridge.
In the fight against corruption, he says the administration has exposed and put on trial those found culpable, as well as enacted laws that have strengthened the war against graft.
The EFCC, the ICPC, and other anti-corruption agencies have gone beyond merely arresting and prosecuting alleged corrupt officials to institutionalizing the fight against corruption through various programs. The Boy administration is leaving a legacy of enacting landmark laws, including the Harmonized Mental Health Bill and Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Bill, both of which have been signed into law by Mr. President.
The minister says although naysayers will always want to amplify the negatives of the present government and try to twist the records to suit their narrative, the PMB legacy of unprecedented development across all sectors in the past 7 years cannot be written off. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The federal government says it has concluded plans to proceed with the second phase of the prosecution of Boko Haram suspects currently being held in a military facility at Kayinji, Niger State. The Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Justice, Beatrice Jediagba, stated this on Sunday while speaking to journalists in Abuja. Agba explained that the trial, which has been done in phases, was temporarily halted to ensure proper investigation of the suspects and to put necessary measures in place to ensure that they were given a fair trial that would meet global standards. She further stated that the federal government is committed to ensuring that justice is dispensed to assuage feelings of victims and survivors of terror attacks and to decongest the detention facilities. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has confirmed the death of 12 persons with 5 others sustaining injuries in a road accident in Sokoto. FRSC Sector Commander in the state, Kabiru Yusuf Nadabo, who confirmed the accident on Monday, said that the accident occurred a Sunday evening at Madake village in Shagari local government area of the state. He said the incident involved a Mitsubishi van carrying 17 persons and loaded with bags of maize, guinea corn, and other items. The FRSC Sector Commander said the vehicle fell into a ditch, adding that 12 persons died on the spot, while 5 others sustained varying degrees of injuries. He said that the affected persons had been taken to the specialist hospital Shagari. Yusuf Nadabo cautioned drivers against overspeeding, dangerous driving, and other unwholesome practices that could endanger lives and property. Students of the Taraba State University, Jalingo, on Monday staged a protest at the school, blocked the Jalingo Bali Gembu and the Jalingo Bali Takum roads as part of protests against the institution's no salary, no exams policy. The protests saw students of the institution burning tires around the school and on the major roads linking the state capital as lecturers of the institution refused to commence examination for the semester. Recall that staff of the institution had last week protested round the school over non-payment of their salaries and threatened a no salary, no exams action. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, how do women farmers fare? Do stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mu ya ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Ladi Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets ko kuma ku wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshin ku kuwa za ku iya saka manya-manyan kujeru na kece raini domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunanmu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario, ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture, mun zagaye ko'ina.
Daily Trust presents 20th Daily Trust Dialogue. Theme: Interrogating the 2023 Presidential Agenda. Panelists: Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, Professor of Political Science and member of the board of the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD. Dr. Yetunde Anibaba, Lecturer, Analysis of Business Problems, Lagos Business School. Dr. Eugene Enahoro, Human Capacity Development Specialist and CEO, Heltoni Services Limited. Date: Thursday, 25th January 2023. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: NAF Conference Center and Suites, Gwarimpa Expressway, near Next Shopping Mall, Kado, Abuja. For sponsorship and branding participation, contact 081 00 49 1948, 081 65 32 0660, or 080 33 92 8902. The event will be broadcast live on Trust TV.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secured are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Victims of Kaduna bandit attacks share ordeal. And right groups demand justice for Jawad killed by stray bullet in Katsina. And now to more stories. Despite President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to the Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies to end insecurity and restore order and stability in the country by the end of December 2022, terrorism in the form of insurgency, banditry, and killings by separatists have continued to claim lives. In this report, Newell Sampson gets the reactions of a security expert and that of Nigerians concerning the progress made after the order by the president.
So far, we are moving to the phase of consolidation of all those gains, so that by December, as ordered by the chairman of the council, the president, and which we have said to all Nigerians before now, that we will put essentially most of the challenges of banditry, particularly insurgency, kidnapping for ransom, criminalities of that nature, far, far behind us.
Despite the presidential order to the nation's security agencies to clamp down of those responsible for insecurity in the nation, several attacks and adoption were recorded in December, as well as after the expiration of the deadline. Just recently, bandits adopted 34 trained passengers in Edo State. This is as victims of banditry in Southern Kaduna are yet to come to terms with terror attacks carried out by bandits. Area attacks launched by the military on the bandits' camp in Zamfara State as part of executing the order led to collateral damage, as some innocent lives were lost in the process. Statistics shows that out of 671 recorded deaths in the last 4 months, 614 were civilians, while 47 were police officers and 10 soldiers. As at last count, no fewer than 1,321 people have been adopted between September and December.
No, certainly, security has been beefed up across the country. That we have had might be more incidents. It's not an indication that security has not been beefed up. You know, there has been a lot of redeployments within the police and other security services, all in an effort to rejig the security arrangements that is in place. There is an urgent need to further deepen the relationship with the public so that the intelligence-led aspect can be emphasized. Because if you have physical deployment and you don't have intelligence to back them, you have real issues. So there is a level of cooperation that I think is still necessary.
Unimpressive as the effort of the Nigerian military may appear to some Nigerians, the federal government believes that its fight against insurgency is on course and making meaning impact.
The administration is leaving a legacy of a revamped security sector in the face of unprecedented security challenges in the country. Today, the Nigerian military is being restored to its glorious past, thanks to the President's foresight and doggedness in re-equipping the various services. And this has made it possible for the military to tackle insurgency and all other security challenges facing the country.
But despite this effort by the government, some Nigerians still believe more needs to be done to address the security challenges.
I haven't really observed any dramatic changes of any sort. You know, no tremendous increase, nor has it declined, you know, to an alarming level.
It looks as if it has improved, but not. What I'm discovering that they just piped it low. Maybe there's an instruction somewhere for them to pipe low.
It is clear to everybody, the insecurity in Nigeria is increasing on a daily basis, and the government is not doing enough to curb it. I think you heard about what happened at the train station. We thought that they are going to take necessary action over it. But at the end of the day, we discovered that what happened then, it only repeated itself a few days ago in, was it in Edo State or so, you know, of which a lot of people were kidnapped.
Security experts believe that the challenge is solvable only if the government has the political will to address them head on. Newell Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And from security, we go to the courts now, where a federal high court in Kano has directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to recognize and publish Bashir Ishaq Bashir's name as the Labour Party's legally nominated governorship candidate for the 2023 election, along with Alhaji Wallu Abdullahi as his running mate. Bashir, the first plaintiff, had filed a suit urging the court to compel INEC to accept and deem the hard copy of the Form EC9 as lawful and sufficient to meet the requirements of the Section 29, Subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2022 as a candidate seeking to contest the 2023 gubernatorial elections. Bashir argued that since he had won the Labour Party's primary election for the governorship on October 20th in Kano, after the voluntary withdrawal of the placeholder in person of Muhammad Raji Abdullahi and had submitted his name to INEC in accordance with the law, the Commission could not disqualify him. Justice M.N. Yunusa, in his judgment, ordered that Bashir and Awal, having fulfilled all the legal requirements prescribed under the Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022, is entitled to all the rights and benefits of their candidature as validly nominated governorship and deputy governorship candidates of the Labour Party in Kano State. He consequently ordered INEC to accept and deem the hard copy of Form EC9 submitted on 20th October to it as lawful and sufficient to meet the requirement of Section 29, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2022 as a candidate. A federal high court in Maiduguri has nullified the candidature of Mohammed Kumalia as PDP's Borno Central Senatorial District for the 2023 election. The presiding judge, Justice Jude Dagard, in his verdict also barred Kumalia from parading himself as PDP party's Borno Central Senatorial candidate. Justice Dagard consequently ordered INEC to upload Jibrin Mustafa Tatabe as the substantive candidate for the PDP. The judgment comes months after Jibrin Mustafa Tatabe denied withdrawing from the Borno Central Senatorial race.
The judgment was very clear that, look, what INEC did was very wrong. INEC ought not to have accepted the name of Mohammed Umara Kumalia as the candidate of the PDP in Borno State for the forthcoming general election, especially for Borno Central Senatorial District. Mohammed Umara Kumalia has not participated in the primary election, and even at that, the law is very clear. If a candidate withdraws, just like they claimed Mustafa Tatabe has withdrawn from the primary election, the person that comes second in that election, one Bukar Kachalla, ought to be the candidate. But surprisingly, from the blues, the name of Mohammed Umara Kumalia came in, and that is why we came to court to say, look, this is an impurity, this is wrong in law, and the court agreed.
And away from the courts now, students of Kaduna Polytechnic have decried the poor state of hostel facilities in the institution due to the abandoned renovation work at the main campus of the school. The students say the renovation of the hostel, which has been left unattended for over a year, has forced them into renting accommodation outside the campus, a situation they say is detrimental to their safety and learning. Here's that report.
This is one of the hostel blocks at the main campus in Kaduna Polytechnic. Students here say renovation work has been abandoned for more than a year.
This place has been abandoned since 2019, and we are even because as we heard that they sold this place to another person, but it's like that is not what's happened, because since then we never been seeing any changes in this place.
Even up to date, sometimes you might even be in the hostel, you can just see shouting that somebody said they found snake, a body snake in underground. Sometimes because of the dusty and very hectic environment, which is not supposed to be for students, even is keeping our life in danger.
So our hostel were dumped for a long time without renovating it, and we need a convenient environment for sleeping in order to learn more and better.
The Student Union of Kaduna Polytechnic, while addressing journalists, faulted the award of the contract for the project and are demanding the revocation of the contracts.
Outright revocation of contracts by the federal government through Ministry of Education and Infrastructure Construction and Regulation Commission, ICRC, prompt re-awarding of the contract to another contractor with reliable track record and immediate cash backing.
The Student Affairs Department of the institution also raised concerns on the abandoned hostel project, saying many students are seeking for accommodation which they cannot provide at the moment.
Part of the management, our concern is to see this place being renovated and we put our students back in, because of the problem that we are sustaining now. We have still quite a number of hostels that we cannot accommodate the students, and now we have many students that are seeking for such accommodations. Some of them have to go outside, despite the fear of threats, insecurity, that they have to, because we couldn't accommodate them in the system. For them to say that this contractor have done their work, then yeah, by then we don't have problem issuing such.
For them to have a conducive environment for learning, the students are appealing to the federal government to ensure the speedy completion of the abandoned project. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
From education to agriculture, women farmers are major stakeholders in Nigerian agricultural industry who contribute a lot to the country's food security. Ibrahim Ismail speaks to a woman farmer in Gombe State on successes and challenges she faced during the 2022 farming season.
Esther Sampson is a Nigerian farmer based in Gombe State. During the 2022 farming season, she cultivated beans and maize. As a woman farmer, Esther used to support her family from the farm produce she cultivates, as she often gets bumper harvest even at a small scale level.
Ni sai dai in ce na gode Ubangiji saboda maganan awu bana ciki.
I thank God because I don't buy grains. I support my family and other people from my harvest. I don't depend on my husband.
A cikin amfanin da na noman nan zan biya bukatuna ba tare da na takura masa ba ko na jira shi ba.
As a woman farmer, Esther is facing difficulties ranging from high cost of fertilizer and other farm implements to discrimination because of her gender. This, she said, could be part of the reasons she couldn't attend a bumper harvest last year.
Takin da kake saya ka sa zaka nemi mutane kana gudun karka nemi maza mata.
If you approach some men, they will not agree to work on your farm to apply fertilizer. Even some young laborers will say the farm is not yours. If they leave you alone, there is problem.
In aka bar maka kai kaɗai ka sunkiya a matsayinka na mace, namiji bai tallafa maka ba. Gaskiya akwai matsala.
Despite all the hiccups, the mother of two believes that if given the required support, women can contribute to Nigeria's food security.
Gaskiya inda za a tallafa a ɗaga mu mata.
If they can help us, we can contribute a lot to food security. I can do a lot personally to ensure food security.
In dai har aka ɗago mu aka taimaka mana nan gaskiya za mu ba da mamaki.
According to Women Lead Agriculture in Nigeria, women smallholder farmers constitute 70 to 80% of labor force in agriculture, but are said to be battling limited access to farmlands and credit facilities. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
A much admired female farmer showing the way. Former military President General Ibrahim Babangida has traveled to Germany for medical checkup. Media aide and close family confidant Mahmoud Abdullahi disclosed this on Monday in Minna. He said that he cannot give more details about the trip since he did not discuss it with his boss before he traveled out of the country. The media aide assured the public that there was no cause for alarm as the former leader had only traveled for a routine medical checkup. The leader of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Abubakar Magaji Olawoyin, is dead. Olawoyin, 57, died in the early hours of Monday following a brief illness. This was confirmed in a statement by the chairman, Kwara State House of Assembly Committee on Information, Awulola Ayokunle. According to the statement, the late Olawoyin will be buried according to Islamic rite Monday evening at his Magajingeri family house, Surulere area of Ilorin, the state capital. The late leader of the assembly represented Ilorin Central constituency on the ticket of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and had ambition for a second term in the 2023 general elections. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be back after this break.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Oh dear residents of the FCT, the dry season is here again, a time when the Harmattan haze is intense and combustibles burn faster. So be responsible and take precautions. Stop bush burning. Stop the sale of gas in areas not approved for such purpose. Make sure you put off all electric appliances when leaving home or the office. Remember, Fire is an obedient servant and a bad master, and has caused colossal damage to lives and property in our dear territory. Support FCT Emergency Management Agency today to prevent fire disaster. For any emergencies in the FCT, call FEMA on the 112 toll-free number or 080-5722-4574. FEMA, reducing disaster risk for a safe and happy FCT.
Business Now, the cash withdrawal limit set by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, became effective January 9, 2023, amid concerns over the slow spread and quality of the redesigned Naira notes. The CBN had, on December 6, 2022, ordered deposit money banks and other financial institutions to ensure that weekly over-the-counter cash withdrawals by individuals and corporate entities do not exceed 100,000 Naira and 500,000 Naira respectively. But the Apex Bank on December the 21st, 2022 adjusted the weekly cash withdrawal limit to 500,000 Naira for individuals and 5 million Naira for corporate firms. There have been concerns from many Nigerians over the slow spread of the 3 new Naira notes as the January 31st, 2023 deadline approaches, but the Apex Bank has insisted that the date stands. The CBN also recently directed commercial banks to halt over-the-counter payment of the new notes and load their ATMs with the redesigned Naira notes to boost circulation. On concerns over the quality of the new notes, the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting, NSPM PLC, recently said the newly redesigned Naira banknotes passed through the same printing processes as the others in circulation. We're still talking business. Let's join Chamun Dabeng for more on business updates.
The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) says 1.235 million barrels of crude oil was produced daily in Nigeria in December 2022. This was revealed in the Commission's Oil Production Status Report for December 2022. According to the report, the period's blended condensate rate increased to 47,913 from 40,691 in November 2022. Unblended condensate rates meanwhile dropped to 130,400 from 187,799 in November 2022. For December 2022, more crude oil output was added to both blended and unblended condensates, totaling 1.413 million barrels per day. This is a decrease from the rate of 1.414 million barrels per day in November 2022, including crude oil, blended condensates, and unblended condensate. According to specialists in the power sector and consumer advocacy organizations, the recent rise in electricity rates by power distribution firms, as authorized by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC), demonstrates how the federal government and DISCOs are mistreating Nigerians. Customers have urged the federal government to direct the power distribution firms to rescind the tariff increase as it comes at a time of Nigeria's acute economic crisis. Additionally, they claim that power distributors raise the electricity tariff without following the multi-year tariff order's due process requirements. Several condemnations have trailed the development after the high pricing was affirmed by a DISCO last week, despite the industry regulator's silence on the subject. The Abuja Electricity Distribution Company (AEDC) says it is alarmed by the increased frequency of vandalism of its electrical equipment and assets throughout its franchise region. The company claims that these occurrences have substantially hampered its attempts to provide stable power supply to its consumers. The company's management noted that in order to guarantee an enhanced power supply, it started a variety of technical and business initiatives last year. These projects, when finished, the company said will greatly improve the power supply to consumers and also enhance the customer experience. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Thank you, Chairman, for bringing us up to date. And on the international scene, the Somalia-based Al-Shabaab extremist group has denied having contact with the Somali government after the country's deputy defense minister claimed that the extremists had, for the first time, asked to negotiate. An unnamed Al-Shabaab official with the group's media unit told a pro-Al-Shabaab website in comments published Sunday that there is no talk between it and the government. It was the first time Somalia's federal government had claimed the extremist group had requested talks. The comments came amid a military offensive the government launched last year and has described as total war. Al-Shabaab is an Al-Qaeda affiliate that for well over a decade has carried out high-profile bombings in Somalia's capital and controlled parts of the country's central and southern regions, complicating efforts to rebuild the once failed state after decades of conflict. Al-Shabaab numbers several thousand fighters, including an unknown number of foreigners, both from regional countries like neighboring Kenya and beyond. The extremists have carried out several high-profile attacks over the years in Kenya, including in the capital, Nairobi, and at a military base used by the United States. A 50-year-old Mozambican suspected mastermind of a lucrative kidnapping ring for ransom has been arrested by Interpol in South Africa, the country's police said Sunday. Ismail Maulud Ramos Nangi is suspected of organizing kidnappings for ransom in Mozambique, which can reach several $1 million in the country affected by the phenomenon for the past 20 years, which targets in particular businessmen and their families. The man was arrested during a raid on Saturday evening at an address in Centurion near the capital Pretoria, South African police said in a statement. A firearm, cartridges, 5 cell phones, as well as several bank cards and SIM cards were seized. Mozambique is asking for his extradition. Ismail Maulud Ramos Nangi was presented to the court on Monday. After emerging the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy must now settle down to work and guide the House to pass a package of rules to govern the House for the next 2 years. Unlike the Senate, which has standing rules that carry over from year to year, the House adopts a new rules package for each Congress and is especially keen on changing the rules as leadership of the House passes over to Republican control. If McCarthy fails to live up to expectations, the rules also allow for any member to force a vote on a motion to vacate the chair, and it would only take a handful of Republicans, along with all Democrats, to oust him. Analysts believe the rules package will limit his ability to negotiate with the Democrats who run the rest of the federal government. They argue that McCarthy's greatest difficulty will be in finding legislation that can pass the House and not be immediately rejected by the Senate or vetoed by President Joe Biden. Trust TV earlier spoke to Ignatius Anor, digital editor Africa of the VOA, who guided us through the intricacies of being in Kevin McCarthy's shoes.
In the next couple of hours, the 118th Congress will begin. Kevin McCarthy has a slew of projects lined up. Key on those would be the passage of the Rules House. Essentially, it's what's going to govern the 118th Congress. When he spoke on Saturday morning after clinching, the things he outlined will be critical to his speakership. And one of those is what they call, what he termed would be the repeal of tens of billions of dollars to the Internal Revenue Service. Now, you recall last year, the 117th Congress passed the Inflation Reduction Act. And one of those bills included some sort of funding to hire additional agents for the IRS. And to Republicans, the IRS would be hiring 87,000 agents to come after middle-income earners in this country. It's something the Republicans are saying they are not for, but also something that has been refuted by the Treasury Department. The convening of the 118th Congress, then Kevin McCarthy had proposed that if 5 Republicans call for snap election, that will be something that he will go for. That's one of the key things that held up, his ascension to the speakership. But at the end of the day, he had to give in to that, meaning that just one speaker can say that we don't want you anymore, and a vote of no confidence will be held. Okay. It essentially goes to question, or would sort of be an attack on his leadership, essentially. But Speaker McCarthy has said he doesn't see that to be the case at all.
Voice of America's Ignatius Ano, guiding us through what it's like to be in McCarthy's shoes. Sports now, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for more sports update.
The 2022-2023 Nigerian Professional Football Abridged League kicked off on Sunday with the South-South Derby between Akwa United and Bende Insurance in Uyo. Newcomers Bende Insurance ensured their first game in the top flight with a 2-0 win over Akwa United. Despite the hosts on the offensive in the first 30 minutes of the game, Bende Insurance goalkeeper Amos Obasogi efficiently stopped all goal-bound attempts. However, the visitors broke the deadlock in the 39th minute following a tapping from Imade Osaikwe. Imade's goal became the first goal scored in the new MPFL season. The visitors added the second goal after goalkeeper God's Gift Elkanah's punch met Ismail Seriki, who fired in the net in the 43rd minute. The second half saw Akwa United seeking for an equalizer, but goalkeeper Amas was equal to the task. MPFL Abridged Day will continue in Group A and B next week. And still on football, head coach of Nigeria's Under-20 Ladan Bozo has invited 35 players to resume camping in Abuja on Monday as part of preparation for the African Under-20 Cup of Nations in Egypt. Goalkeeper Nathaniel Nwosu is at the top of the list alongside midfielder Daniel Daga and forward Promise Bernard. Training sessions commence on Monday as Bozo looks to pick his final squad for the tournament that also serves as qualifier for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup Finals in Indonesia. 7-time champions Nigeria will battle host nation Egypt, Senegal and Mozambique in Group A of the 12-nation tournament taking place in the city of Cairo, Alexandria and Ismailia from 19 February to 11th March 2023. All 4 semi-finalists at the championship will fly Africa's flag at FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Uganda, Central African Republic, South Sudan and Congo are in Group B, while the Gambia, Tunisia, Benin Republic and Zambia will slug it out in Group C. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV tonight. Also, don't forget to follow us across all our media platforms. I am Eugenia Abu. We thank you for joining in.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.